Okay, this is part 2 of our lesson on classifying angles, and so we're going to continue working on these examples. Now going to example 3. This one's fairly straightforward. This is just two angles that add up to 180 degrees. This is called an exterior angle to a triangle, but this 89 plus the B should equal 180, so we can just flip the 89 to the other side. It becomes a negative 89. With that, all we have to do is do the subtraction for that, and we wind up with 91 as the answer. Alright, let's take a look at these problems here. These are supplementary angles. These should add up to 180, so 6x plus 4 plus the 16 plus 2x. These two angles are together on a straight line, so they should add up to 180 because they are supplementary. And then we'll go ahead and flip the non-x terms to the other side. So we have 6x plus 2x equals the 180 minus the 4 minus the 16. Combine those, we get 8x. And for this one, it looks like I'm going to get 160. Right, the negative 4 and the negative 16 combine to a negative 20. That will then have a war with 180, so 160 would be left over. And our last step is division here, so we'll divide both sides by 2. That winds up giving you 20 as the answer. We can confirm that that is true just by checking 6 times 20 plus 4. That is 124. Then we'll do 16 plus 2 times 20. That is going to be a 56. When you double that, that's 40 plus 16, 56. And 124 plus 56 is going to be 180. So you definitely want to go through and compare those, like plug that answer back in, make sure that it works. Because if you wind up making a mistake, chances are it's going to show up in this process. And for this one here, these two angles are supplementary, so they are going to add to 180 degrees. I will go ahead and I did not put add, sorry. So the 2x plus 12 plus the 126 degrees add up to 180. And now we can go ahead and flip the terms that do not have variables. So we have 180 minus the 12 minus the 126. And then you want to figure out what the answer is from there by subtracting 180 minus the 12 minus the 126 to leave you with the 42. Divide by 42. And you wind up with x equals 21 as your answer. Now the question is it correct? Well, let's find out. We will take the 2 times the 21 plus 12, that's this angle here, and see what that winds up being. So 42 plus 12 is 54. 54 plus 126, that is going to be your 180 degrees. So that does confirm your answer. Alright, let's flip it to the last page. We just got these set of problems here to go. For these, all you're being asked to do is to identify whether they're vertical or adjacent. Now remember, verticals are directly across from each other. Adjacents share a side. So this one is going to be adjacent. Okay, what about number 2? Is it vertical or adjacent? Well, we can see that these are directly across from each other. These are going to be vertical angles. All right, go ahead and make your guess on the next 2. Okay, so hopefully you should be done with those. For this one here, these are going to be vertical angles. They are across from each other directly. And these two are going to be adjacent. Now, one of the things that's so important to know the difference, vertical angles are always congruent. They're always equal to each other. It's not true with adjacent, but if they are formed directly across from each other with two lines, those are going to be vertical angles, and they are congruent. All right, so for this one here, we know that these two angles, 25 and x minus 13, then you have this full angle, and that's what this is showing. It's showing this full thing is 6x plus 5. Well, all three of these angles make up a complete 360. So I would do 6x plus 5 plus the x minus 13 plus the 25, and that would be all the angles being used, right? So all of these add up to 360. Now we're going to solve. I'm going to go and start combining a couple steps since we've done this a number of times. I can combine my x terms, so 6x and x make a 7x, and then I can go ahead and put all my other terms. 5 becomes a negative 5, 13 becomes a positive 13, and 25 becomes a negative 25. And so I can go ahead and enter those in a calculator, figure out what the values are, what the advantage is. Sorry. I think I got off track there a little bit, sorry. So we combine the 6x and the 6x and the 1x to make a 7x. And then we moved the 5 over, it became negative, negative 13 became positive, 25 became negative 25, and now we can combine all these together. I find one of the easiest ways is to combine, like do alliances, like this positive and this positive would make a 373, and then these two negatives would combine to a negative 30, and then this would be a war with 343 being what's left over after use the 30, and then our last step would be divide both sides by 7. So if I divide that by 7, I get 49. So x equals 49. Now, is it true? Well, we can come back up to these here and plug in 49. So 6 times 49 plus 5, that is going to equal 299, and then 49 minus 13. 49 minus 13 is 62. No, that's not right. 49 minus 13 is 36, and then we know the other angle is just 25. So what happens if we add those? 299 plus the 36 plus the 25, it gives you an even 360. So 299 plus 36 plus 25 equals 360. Alright, that checked out. Let's go and take a look at the next one. So for this one here, this is the same type of deal. All three of these angles should add up to 360 degrees since it's a full circle. So we'll have the 28 plus the x minus 16 plus the 299, and that's going to equal 360. So there's only one x term here, so I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to move all the other ones over to the other side. So this would be a negative 28, a positive 16, and a negative 299. And we can use that then to figure out the value for x. So I'm going to do 360 minus the 28 plus the 16 minus the 299, and we're going to get x equals 49. Hey, just like the previous problem. Does it still work? Well, if I add them all together, 28 plus 49 minus 16 plus 299, do I get 360? And if I do, I know it's correct, and then that's going to be the answer. So I'm going to do 28 plus 49 minus the 16 plus 299. 360. So it does indeed work. Let's flip to the last page. I feel like we've already done a number of these. I'm actually going to skip number 3. I think this is a much more interesting one. So for this one here, we have these two angles that are opposite each other. These are vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent to each other. So I can do 4x plus 2 and set it equal to 46. And then we're just going to do the same process we've done before. Flip this to the other side. This becomes 48. This becomes 44. Divide both sides by 4, and you get x equals 11. So we now know the value for x. Let's see if it works out. So 4 times 11 plus 2, that should equal 46, right? So that is 44 plus 2, 46. There we go. That is the end of part 2.